donuts, please? And I'd love another glass of milk.
But Dahlia, sweetheart, you've already had 3 donuts. Are you sure you want to have another?
Dahlia, you're always eating donuts. When you gonna stop?
One day my sister's gonna turn into a big old donut and everybody's gonna laugh at her. Oh, y'all are just jealous because I'm pretty and I can eat as many donuts as I want and I never get fat.
She did not just say that.
Oh, friends! Ouch! That was kind of a painful conversation. We just got a glimpse into Dahlia's childhood, and her brother and sister were not very nice to her, were they? But first, a proper introduction. It's Daisy, my amazing friends, and you've just entered my podcast show called Daisy's Friends, and this episode is called Dahlia's Delicious Doughnuts. This show is geared toward adult ears and teens, but you can also check out my other shows called Attorney Malka's Dollcast and The Adventures of Purple Pop Pete, both geared toward children and folks of all ages. In case you were wondering, this story is narrated in a very candid nature for any of us who have ever felt less because of the comments and ridicule of others. But Dahlia turns it all into a positive. Are you ready to find out how she does it? Let's go. And the ridicule continues.
Dahlia, if you keep eating all those donuts, you're gonna turn into a big donut one day, and everybody's gonna laugh at you.
But the more that Dahlia's brother Tango and her sister Tangelo made fun of her, the stronger she became. She had such a strong disposition, and she was always a happy person. Dahlia grew up in a happy home, but mealtimes were always stressful, and so she went through her childhood always remembering her sister's remarks that one day she would turn into a donut if she kept eating her favorite food. During her teen years, Dahlia grew a little bit chubby. As she would look at herself in the mirror, she noticed 3 rings starting to take shape in her middle. She didn't pay too much attention to it. After all, she was a very pretty girl and a very sweet one at that, and very smart.
Dahlia, you are the kindest, sweetest, and prettiest girl I have ever known. And what matters is what's on the inside, and you have a heart of gold, my dear.
Oh, Mama, I love you so much. I just think that I'm getting a little bit chubby. What do you think?
You don't have a thing to worry about, my dear. You just go on being the beautiful person that you are.
This was a conversation that Dahlia had often with her mama, and it always left her feeling, well, just a little bit unsettled. But what made her feel really good was having another donut, and her favorite donuts were the ones with the pink sprinkles. Years passed by as Dahlia went through high school with stellar grades and graduated with honors. All the while, the 3 rings in her middle began to take shape until one day she looked in the mirror and gasped, for right before her eyes she could see the shape of 3 pink sprinkled donuts in her middle. As confident as Dahlia was, she always noticed people staring at her wherever she went, and thought that it must have something to do with the 3 donuts lodged in her middle. But she didn't know how to get rid of them, and one day simply accepted that they were a part of who she was. But Dahlia had mastered a talent that no one else in the family had. She became an expert at creating and baking the most delicious, wonderful pastries that anyone had ever tasted.
Yummy.
Dahlia dreamed of starting her own bakery, and selling wonderful pastries to people who could appreciate what she was really good at. And then one day she realized that the pink sprinkled donuts lodged in her middle actually complemented her talent. But certainly there in her home state of Texas was no place to open a bakery. And then, one day after school, Dahlia popped into her favorite bakery to pick up a couple of donuts when she overheard a conversation between two odd-looking girls.
Katie, have you heard of Daisy's World? I hear it's amazing, but it's not easy to get into. Yes, Jody, I have heard of Daisy's World. I heard it's really difficult to get into, but a lot of really cool people live there. At least that's what I've heard.
Said Katie to Jody.
I wonder if we qualify, Katie. We're both a little bit different. What do you think?
Wondered Jody. The two girls, Katie and Jody, strolled off to a little table to enjoy their pastries and coffee, as Dahlia got to wondering, maybe she could live in Daisy's World and open her bakery.
How can I move to Daisy's World? I don't even know where it is, much less if it even exists,
wondered Dahlia. But Dahlia's mama had always taught her the power of positive thinking. And so it was that Dahlia thought perhaps if she willed Daisy's World into existence, she could move there. It was a crazy thought, but she did it anyway. Several weeks later, Dahlia received an invitation in the mail. Who on earth would send her an invitation? She was curious, but a little nervous at the same time. The invitation was sealed with wax and looked very official. As Dahlia opened it, she removed a beautiful card with gold lettering, and she read it. It was an invitation from Daisy's World. Dahlia was shocked. She couldn't believe that she had received such an invitation, much less the fact that Daisy's World did in fact exist. And clearly, it was by invitation only to move there. There was simply no question that Dahlia would not accept the invitation, and so she decided to make the announcement to her family that evening at dinner.
But Dahlia, my sweetheart, how will you ever survive there? I've never even heard of Daisy's World,
questioned Dahlia's mama, as then she broke into tears.
You see, Dahlia, you're just upsetting Mama,
charged Dahlia's sister Tangelo.
I don't believe a thing about this Daisy's World business. I think you're crazy to move to a place you never even heard of. We don't even know where it is,
claimed her brother Tango in a rage.
I know you all don't support my decision, but my decision is final. And as much as I miss y'all, I'm leaving this weekend,
announced Dahlia.
Well, I don't know, my dear. I'll have to call your father and let him know,
said Dahlia's mom, Claire, as she sobbed and sobbed at the thought of not having her daughter around. And in fact, Dahlia had not seen her father in years since he left the home.
Oh, it's okay, Mama. Don't cry. You know, all right, and one day y'all can come and visit me. I'm gonna open a bakery.
Well, the decision was final. Dahlia had taken a stand, and so it was that Dahlia and her 3 pink donuts lodged in the middle moved to Daisy's World. The end. Hey friends, well, looks like Dahlia is becoming an entrepreneur, donuts and all. She's about to take Daisy's World by storm, and we'll find out all the new details in the next story called Dahlia Does Daisy's World, as Dahlia learns about the mystical existence in a place she never even dreamed of. So, my friends, now is the perfect time to subscribe so you'll get notifications of this next exciting upcoming story and many others from the podcast show called Daisy's Friends. And while you're at it, check out Attorney Malka's Dollcast and The Adventures of Purple Pop Pete. Go to daisyfrench.com/podcasts. See you at the next story.